I don't mean to alarm you, but I'm going to try and build a modern house in The Sims. I know it's horrifying. lilsimsie doing a modern build is just unnatural, but listen, I wanted to make a Not So Berry build. Last week I did one for the first generation of Not So Berry, and so today I wanted to try and make a Gen 2 Not So Berry house. The Not So Berry challenge is a legacy challenge that I made like 5 years ago with my friend Zoe, and basically in it, each generation is a different color theme. So Gen 1 is mint, Gen 2 is rose. And so this house is kind of like a red solid color challenge build, but with like a few other specific details. So here's what I mean. I tried to build like a sort of mid-century modern, almost industrial also inspired house. It's all red and black, and it's also only using the base game. I wanted to make a house that you could all download and use if you wanted to play the challenge. The challenge itself requires a few packs. Like for example, in this generation, you need to have the city living pack so you can play with the politician career, but I wanted the house at least to be downloadable for all of you. And also I hadn't really tried to do a lot of base game Not So Berry builds. I've done some like mint gen starter homes, but I hadn't done any red generation ones. And so I wanted to try and do it with this. If the challenge is new to you, it might sound a little bit weird, but basically a legacy challenge is like a 10 generation challenge in The Sims. And in it you have like one sim you start with and you play with their kids and then their kids and then their kids, and you keep going for 10 generations. And in this case, each one has a sort of different theme and like different set of rules. In this one, the Rose Gen is supposed to be a politician. They have the hot-headed, snob, and romantic traits. They're supposed to only have one kid, and they're also supposed to leave someone at the altar at some point in their life. So there's kind of some interesting rules. The idea was sort of to make me branch out and try things that I hadn't really done in the game before. Like at the time, I never used the leave at altar functionality, and so I wanted to sort of make an excuse to use that. So obviously because of those rules, this house kind of has a few of those things included. Like there's an office space for them. There's just one kid's bedroom, and that bedroom is yellow for the yellow gen because their kid is going to be the next generation. But at least in this house, you don't have to worry about too many skill building items. Like the first generation is supposed to be in the scientist career, so they've got a ton of random stuff. They've got like all those science machines and everything. In this one, we don't have that so much, although their kid is supposed to be an astronaut, so you're gonna have in the yellow gen 3, like a rocket ship and stuff eventually, but at least not in this house. You avoided it narrowly with this one. I will say I had a very hard time with the floor plan on this house too. You'll watch me struggle a lot with it. I really had an issue with trying to figure out like how I wanted to split it up. I ended up like flipping it completely, you'll see soon. But I wanted to have a really nice open floor plan, but I also wanted to have the 2 bedrooms and have them be a decent size, and I wanted to have enough bathrooms, and it was just kind of hard to fit all of that in this sort of small space. I did manage to make it work, although I will say that I kind of wish that the bedroom was a little bit bigger for the parents, but oh well, you can't have it all, can you? So I also did a couple weird things. You'll see that I put a full wall of sliding glass doors in the back there, and that was kind of controversial on my stream. People either loved it or hated it, and I understand, it's kind of weird, but I was thinking, and in real life, we do this kind of thing a lot. Like you'll have, normally it's one big sliding glass door and it fills up an entire wall. And we do have a couple things like that in The Sims, but they're not base game. And so I put 3 of the big sliding glass doors. They're actually the medium wall height ones because they fit better on this wall. And then I just lined them up to look like, in my mind, one big giant one. Again, it's not the best. I feel like it'd be nicer if we had a different one, but nothing else really fit that well. And I wanted to have like that vibe. And so I did it anyway. I actually love the backyard of this house. I feel like I was kind of going for a house that was really suitable for entertaining in this one, because in the game, you don't actually need to do this, but I was sort of imagining that because they're a politician, they're maybe having like a lot of parties here and entertaining a lot. And so I wanted to have a good space for that, like a good entertaining space. So there's like a bar, there's a pool, there's a big giant island with a big open kitchen. I was really going for that like lovely entertaining room. Again, in The Sims, it doesn't really matter that much because your Sims don't really entertain. And when you try to have a party, they don't really behave the way you might expect them to in real life, but you know what? We can just pretend, okay? Half of The Sims is just pretending, and that's what I'm doing here. I did have a kind of hard time with color scheme in this. I've noticed that when I try and do kind of specific color schemes like this, I sort of trap myself in a box. Like I had in my head red and black, and so I was like, okay, all red, all black, and I was trying to do like industrial, so I was using like all these metal things and dark grays, and I feel like I kind of got trapped in that little box a little bit, and I was trying to branch out from it. It was kind of hard for me, but I think at the end it sort of comes together. But there was definitely a period in the middle here where things just weren't working. So bear with me. We will get there. And also it was base game only, so I kind of wish that I had a few more options color scheme wise, but because it was base game, I feel like I was sort of missing a lot of the things that I wanted to use. I kept like thinking of, oh, you know, that rug from this pack or whatever, and I didn't have it. So that part was kind of hard. But all in all, I think the house ends up looking really nice. And it also doesn't look like a base game house. I feel like people oftentimes are like, oh no, like it's just base game. But really, the base game has a ton of awesome stuff and a lot of different styles, and you can definitely put it together really well. It's just sometimes when you're like thinking about a very certain like get famous rug, it sucks when you can't use it. But the Sims 4 base game is actually pretty impressive. It's better than some of the old base games for sure. Although in the Sims 3 we had create a style, so it was a lot easier to get certain color schemes. You were a lot less limited in the Sims 3, but oh well. Okay. One other small confession. I did start out this house with a budget. I was gonna try and keep it like 30K. That did not happen. It did not work. That did not stay. We changed our minds. I just kept spending. So that is my bad. I sincerely apologize, but I promise I did try. Although here's the thing about Not So Berry, right? Usually by this point, like at Gen 2 of the Legacy, you've actually have probably a lot of money because you have to master the career for each gen. So if Gen 1 maxed the scientist career, Gen 2 probably is sitting pretty well when it comes to funds. When I've played challenges like this, oftentimes I'll end up cheating away money because I don't like it when my Sims are too rich. I know that sounds really weird. Like, why would you not want to be rich? But I kind of prefer when my Sims have to work a little bit for money. I just feel kind of silly having my Sim like go to work each day when I've got like 50K in the bank. Because if I've got a mansion and 50K, I don't really need to go into the office, you know? What's the point? So I prefer when they're struggling. Again, I know it's weird. It makes no sense, but I do like it when they struggle. It's more fun for me. So this kid's room is not red. It's actually yellow, and that's because that third generation, so the Gen 2's kid, is the yellow gen. And so I tried to fit into like their theme. The yellow gen, like I said, is gonna be an astronaut. So I tried to have like some science inspiration, lots of yellow colors in there, bunch of toys for him and stuff. I think it turned out really cute. I actually love that bedroom a lot. Even like not just for the yellow gen, but just in general, I think it's a cute bedroom for a kid. I don't usually do like a yellow and black color scheme for kids' room, so it was kind of fun trying to branch out and try that. This house is also like 2 bedrooms and 1.5 bathrooms. You'll see that weird little 3x1 space is actually a bathroom. I wanted to put in like an extra toilet and sink because it's kind of annoying when you have to use like the only bathroom in the house when you've got guests over. So I wanted to make sure I had at least one extra little bathroom. There's just not a ton of space for it, so I made like a long skinny one. And that is also very controversial on my Twitch stream. You see, I have a bathroom like that in this house where I live now, like a long skinny bathroom. So to me that is super normal because I literally live in a house that has one. But whenever I do it, people think it's super weird. So I'm gonna ask this to you. Have you ever seen like a long skinny bathroom in real life? I think that mine is probably more like a 2x1 than a 3x1 in real life, but in The Sims the 3x1 makes more sense. It fits better. But it's not that weird. Like, I have one. I live in a house with one, so it has to be kind of normal. I live in a townhouse though, so like my whole house is kind of long and skinny, so it makes sense that I've got a long and skinny bathroom. It's not ideal, obviously, but it's not bad. I mean, it works. It's useful. I always do these speed builds live on my Twitch stream first. I know I keep talking about my stream. I'm so sorry. But if you want to come by, it's kind of fun when we do the builds together. I feel like it kind of makes it exciting to get to be there live and like actually interact with us and you know, have these bathroom debates real time. So if you think you might enjoy that, I can link my channel down below. It's just twitch.tv/lilsimsie. And I'm getting very close to 600,000 followers on Twitch. So if you want to come by and follow, I would not be mad. I would not complain. I would actually really enjoy that. So if you want to drop in, you're invited. Oh my gosh, as I'm talking about this Sims house, I'm thinking about my real life house. So I just bought a house in real life and we're renovating it and stuff. And I had a dream last night. So we just put in the kitchen, like the new cabinets are in and stuff. The counters aren't there yet, but we've bought them and like they're coming soon. And I had a dream last night that they put the wrong counters in. So in my dream, I went to the house to go and see it and like check on stuff. And I walked in and there was bright orange, like spotted countertops. I guess spot isn't the right word. They had like orange hexagons all over the countertop. And so I've got these green cabinets. So I walk in, I have these green cabinets and there's orange hexagons all over the countertop. And then I like called the contractor and he was like, oh, sorry, it's too late to change it. And so I just had to live with the like orange dots on my countertop. I'm having stress dreams about the house now. But luckily they will not be orange in real life. Could you imagine? I really cannot emphasize enough how scary looking these counters were. I mean, can you picture it? It's like a giant stone slab that is orange with orange hexagons and even brighter orange all over it. And then it's paired with the green cabinets. Oh no, no, no. I hate to say it, but it seems like a thing the Sims team would do. They'd give us a wacky swatch like that of a new counter. I wouldn't put it past them. Anyway, I'm sorry, the Sims house. We're here for the Sims. So I'm working on the outside now, and I love this backyard. It has like that beautiful pool. It's got a lovely patio space with like that awesome lattice or whatever on top. I made that custom by just using a fence and making like a custom pattern. There's also like a small amount of grass space. In my head, I was picturing they wouldn't want a lot of grass because they don't want a lot of maintenance for it. So I wanted to have a lot of patio mostly. But I did end up putting, I'm pretty sure I put a monkey bar set at the end, but I might have forgotten that. You can see at this point too, I've just completely given up on the budget. Like I mother loaded. We got 50K. Forget the budget, it's over now. And I used a lot of those debug stones, like stepping stones. I did it in the front and in the back. You'll see I end up changing it in the front. I think it looks super cool. I wish we had more things like that. I'm talking about these debug stones. They're like big flat rectangles and squares. You can get them by typing bb.show hidden objects and then bb.show live edit objects and just scrolling far enough till they show up. Sorry, there's a bug on my window and my cat is trying to slap it. It's like on the glass on the outside. If you hear any weird noises, that's just her. Don't worry about it. There's like a wasp taunting her from the outside. Anyway, those debug stones are so useful for making like nice stepping stone paths. I want more of them so badly. They're just so pretty. Like they make such a good addition to the game. I would love to see more stuff like that. And also because they're trapped in debug, I feel like a lot of people don't even know they exist. Like I would probably bet that most of you had never seen these before. Because how would you have? They're like hidden behind 2 cheats and like a nightmare catalog that is impossible to scroll through. So I would love to see more things like this added like actually into the game. I mean, it's nice that these are free because they're in debug, you have to pay for them, but it would be nice to have like a thing like this come in a pack or something. I love to see cool debug things added. It's always super fun, but I also know that most Sims players will probably never ever use debug. So it's a shame when all the cool things are hidden behind it. Like in Cottage Living, all of the best landscaping, there's so many beautiful flowers, but they're all debug only. And so I bet a lot of you never even see them because you don't know how to access that. I always try and talk about it and like give tutorials and explain because I know that a lot of you would never know otherwise, but it's a shame because there's these awesome things they made that are hidden behind 2 cheats. They do it because those items aren't like properly finished. They're made for like the environment, so to use like in the background of lots, but not actually on lots. I think they probably have like weird poly count issues. A lot of times they're transparent, so your Sims will walk through them, but I feel like they should just finish them. It's so nice. Some of the things are so nice. Not all things, but at least like the Cottage Living landscaping and some of those stones are really super useful items. Anyway, we're kind of finishing the end of the build now here. I'm just doing like some last minute decorations. I put a few suspicious things, like for example, a bag of money in the bedroom. There's a duffel bag full of cash in this politician's bedroom. Now that is a little bit concerning, I won't lie. Where did it come from? Where did they get that? Okay, other small thing is I really struggled with the exterior color scheme of this house. I had the hardest time trying to pick the colors I wanted to use because I wanted to have some different textures. Like I wanted to have the red, but also some stone accent or like some brick or something. But then like all of the shades were kind of odd and it looked so dark and scary and the lighting was bad on the lot, and I just had a really hard time trying to pick the wallpaper colors. But I think I settled on an okay one, although I still don't love it. I think that's just an issue with like the gray tone of a lot of those base game ones. Again, I just don't love them, but it's fine. And with that, the house is like really pretty much done. So I want to pop into the game and like show you a proper tour because I am super proud of this house and it's kind of hard to see like just from the speed build. So I'll get my game open here and give you a tour. So I built this lot here on the dusty turf lot in Oasis Springs. It's on my gallery called Not So Berry Rose, and also it is 70,000 simoleons. So I apologize. Don't worry about it. Sorry. 70K is so expensive for a 2-bedroom house. It's not even 2 full bathrooms. That is so bad. I have a serious overspending problem in this game, but this is the house finished. So you can see it has this super cute custom walkway. I love the chimney in the front of the house. I will say that chimney is not actually functional. It has no fireplace, but just pretend it was like an old house that used to have a fireplace, but they took it out, so it's gone, and the chimney remains. I also like the little half wall fencing that I did here in the front, and then down the side yard, we have this cute little red, obviously, monkey bar set for the kids. Lots of open grass space in the backyard. We have this amazing little patio here. The controversial sliding glass doors. We have the pool. I also really like this wall coming out. I thought it was kind of interesting because I don't really normally do stuff like that, but I pulled the wall out and then put like some built-in planters there. I think that's kind of realistic too. A lot of houses have that in real life. And then on the inside of the building, when you walk in, you open the door straight into this little like entrance area. To the left, we have this big living room with a very expensive TV. Again, the budget out the window. I also stuck like a little bar here in the corner and I made like a custom mirror above it. I love how this little area looks. I was obsessed with this. There's a little teeny tiny, oh my God, there's no wallpaper. Oh no. There's a little teeny tiny bathroom with no wallpaper right here. My bad, sorry. Didn't know I did that. It is on the gallery like that. That is, oops. Anyway, we have a little teeny tiny bathroom right here with like some concrete floors. To the right, we have this little office, again with the concrete floors. There's like a little nook with a clock and some brick for seating. We also have some really cool art on the wall. There's a really small dining table. That's the one thing this house kind of lacks, is a proper dining room. And I did say it was like an entertaining sort of house and then, you know, made it have no space for entertaining. So my bad, but there's space outside for that. You know, it's the desert, so you can put it out there. It's not gonna rain. Get like a nice table out here for your guests or something. I did love the kitchen. I loved using this new painting we got in the base game update a few weeks ago, and I also put like some exposed shelves and stuff. But I just think this big square island is so cool, and I think that kind of serves the purpose of the dining table. We don't have like a proper table, but at least we have this huge island. There is only one full bath that also doesn't have wallpaper. Oh no! How did I manage that? There's not even a mirror in here? Oh, I'm like actually embarrassed. It's on the gallery like that? I streamed this build. How did nobody notice? Oh, this is bad. Oh no. Well, there's one full bathroom in this house. It has a shower and a tub and apparently no wallpaper. This is that kid's bedroom. I loved the color scheme in here. I think this turned out so cute. I think this might be one of my favorite kids rooms I've done in a long time. I really enjoy this and it's perfect for this generation. And then this is the parents' room. It's a bit smaller, but it serves a purpose and of course has a suspicious bag of money. Everything you need, you know, money, books, all the bases covered, but apparently not wallpaper. Anyway, that is the whole build. Sorry that there's no wallpaper on the gallery. I don't know how I messed that up, but apparently I did. And it is base game only, so if you want to download it, you can. I don't know how many of you want to use this as like a regular house for regular gameplay, but it is kind of fun and it's definitely different than my usual look. I don't normally do like red builds, so I had a fun time doing this. I'll link the Not So Berry rules and also my Twitch channel down below if you want to check them out. And with that being said, I'm gonna catch you all tomorrow. Bye everybody. I'm curious, how many of you have played the Not So Berry challenge? I'm playing it right now on Twitch and I am having so much fun. I know I'm biased because I wrote it, but I love this challenge.